Hi friends, my channel has under 1,000 subscribers, so I don't earn from ads yet. Each video takes a lot of time and effort. If you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing or becoming a member. Your support means the world to me.
Under the shade of the Bodhi Ancient Tree, he endured countless cycles of reincarnation. When he finally awoke, his cultivation leaped from Nine-Turn Dou Venerate directly to Nine-Turn Dou Venerate, shocking all witnesses. Even more fortunate, he was granted countless Bodhi seeds by the ancient tree, which made both the Hun clan and the heavenly demon Phoenix clan burn with envy. Hun Yu, a powerhouse at the 8-turn Dou Venerate level, brazenly demanded the Bodhi seeds, his voice full of menace. But Xiao Yan was no fool. He knew clearly that Bodhi seeds could help a Dou Venerate step into the ranks of a Dou Saint. Handing them over would be no different than courting death. Xiao Yan smiled calmly, looked directly at Hun Yu and said, "If you want them, come and take them yourself." Hun Yu's handsome, jade-like face immediately darkened, murderous intent flooding forth. What he hated most was Xiao Yan's relaxed, confident demeanor, as though everything was already in his grasp. Hun Yu sneered coldly, believing Xiao Yan was only bluffing, but Xiao Yan remained unmoved, speaking indifferently. "Those little tricks in the shadows are useless against me." As soon as his words fell, Xiao Yan suddenly punched into the empty space on his left. Scorching energy shattered the void, forcing Hun Yu to reveal himself, staggering back. He never expected his stealth to be completely exposed, his expression growing gloomier. Without wasting words, Xiao Yan stepped forward. His aura surged like a vast ocean, covering the entire void, suffocating weaker cultivators. The spectators trembled in shock, for they could clearly sense that Xiao Yan now stood at the very peak of the Nine-Turn Dou Venerate, countless times stronger than he had been just a month ago. Even Hun Yu shivered. At last he understood why Xiao Yan dared to remain so composed. His cultivation had far surpassed his own. Still, Hun Yu forcefully ignited his clan's markings, his aura erupting to the extreme limit of the 8-turn Dou Venerate. Xiao Yan merely shook his head blandly. That level is still not enough. Enraged, Hun Yu formed hand seals, condensing a dark palm print, accompanied by eerie wails and distorted faces of souls, his killing move the soul-destroying palm. Yet before Xiao Yan, with just a casual wave of his hand, the palm shattered like brittle glass. Hun Yu was horrified, unable to believe such a lethal technique had been so easily dispelled. Looking down coldly from above, Xiao Yan said with disdain, "The so-called methods of the Hun clan are not even worth mentioning." Fury surged in Hun Yu's chest, but he also understood the disparity was overwhelming. Xiao Yan gave him no further chance. He waved his hand flames, forming a colossal palm that descended from the heavens. Hun Yu desperately summoned countless shadowy beasts to resist, yet the instant they touched the fire, they were reduced to nothingness. Finally, his defenses were crushed by the fiery palm blood spraying from his mouth as he fell heavily, gravely wounded. The crowd gasped in terror, thankful they were not the ones standing opposite Xiao Yan. Xiao Yan then struck again from afar, sending several Hun clan and heavenly demon Phoenix clan experts flying. Jufeng, witnessing Hun Yu's miserable defeat, turned pale with fear. Just as Xiao Yan was about to seize the opportunity to eradicate his foes, the entire space suddenly trembled. The Bodhi Ancient Tree emitted a deep hum, the earth flowing like mercury, as the colossal trunk slowly sank into the ground. A wave of regret washed over all present, for perhaps in their entire lives, they would never again witness such a sight, let alone the legendary Bodhi heart. Only Xiao Yan was aware that within his own chest, a jade-green Bodhi heart was quietly radiating light. At the very moment everyone lowered their guard space around them, twisted violently like an invisible cage sealing all escape. Above the skies behind Jufeng, a colossal heavenly emperor phantom appeared. Its wings covered the heavens, sealing the entire area with oppressive might. Feeling Xiao Yan's cold gaze sweep over, Jufeng panicked and shouted toward Hun Yu, "Are you still not acting?" Hun Yu sneered sinisterly, taking out a scroll and crushing it. Instantly, spatial ripples surged into Jufeng's body. Borrowing its force, he tore open the void, revealing a deep, pitch-black passage. From within, the crack waves of terrifying pressure spread out, causing everyone's faces to change. It was the aura of a half-sage. Xiao Yan immediately recognized that they were summoning a powerhouse of the clan. Moments later, a pale skeletal hand stretched out from the void fissure. A hoarse cough echoed as an old, hunched figure in gray robes emerged, leaning on a skull-shaped staff. His hollow eyes glowed with eerie green light, sending chills down the spines of all who looked. Hun Yu hurriedly stepped forward, explaining that Xiao Yan had reached the peak of the Nine-Turn Dou Venerate and possessed the Bodhi seeds, thus requiring the elder to act personally. This elder was none other than Gu Yu. His green eyes gleamed as he stared intently at Xiao Yan, his shriveled face curling into a strange smile. Gu Qingyang and the other elders of the Gu clan immediately attempted to use spatial scrolls to call for aid, but discovered that all fluctuations were blocked by Zhu Feng's Heavenly Emperor Phantom, preventing transmission. Gu Yu swept his gaze around, declaring himself once the Second Heavenly Venerate of the Hall of Souls, but now preferring the title of Saint Gu Yu. He said he had long heard of Xiao Yan, especially intrigued by his ability to fuse different heavenly flames. Under the crushing aura of this half-sage, Xiao Yan understood the massive gap between them. He resolved silently after this battle he must refine the Bodhi heart and step into the half-sage realm as soon as possible. Unfurling his green-red skeletal wings, Xiao Yan instructed Shun to buy time. On Shuna's forehead, a seven-colored sigil appeared, her aura surging as golden flames erupted in her eyes. She stood firmly in front of Gu Yu. Though Gu Yu acknowledged her divine-grade bloodline potential, he remained confident she was far from his match. His figure blurred instantly, appearing before her with a palm strike. Shuna staggered back from the blow, but immediately formed seals. The golden flames within her body exploded forth, blazing like a sun that set the skies aflame. Gu Yu stared at the terrifying fire and slowly uttered its name. The Golden Emperor Flame ranked fourth on the Heavenly Flame ranking, the inherited flame of the Gu clan. He had not expected Shun to control such a flame, and his heart shook. The Golden Emperor Flame's power was so immense that even Xiao Yan's fused flames might not surpass it. Battle continues. Shun deploys the Golden Emperor Burning Flame Array. Gu Yu fuses with his skeletal avatar. The array shatters. Finally, Xiao Yan condenses the Buddha's Wrath Flame, Lotus, infused with 5 flames, blasting apart Gu Yu's myriad soul's bone armor, leaving him gravely wounded. At this moment, Xiao Yan held in his palm a perfect 5-colored flame lotus, rotating slowly like a masterpiece of divine art. The destructive energy it released twisted the surrounding space. Seeing it, Gu Yu's skeletal form rasped that it must be the product of flame fusion. Yet Xiao Yan only sneered coldly, raising his hand as the flame lotus spun faster. Terrifying waves of annihilation spread out, making onlookers tremble just to glance at it. Xiao Yan warned Shun to retreat quickly, for once the lotus erupted, even he could barely control its devastating might. Sensing the threat, Shun quickly withdrew, with Gu Qingyang and the others. The skeletal avatar laughed hideously, trying to crush Xiao Yan's spirit. The gulf between a Dou Venerate and a half-sage can never be crossed, but Xiao Yan did not waver. With a flick of his finger, the flame lotus shot forward like a streak of light. Wherever it passed, the void silently collapsed, leaving behind a yawning black fissure. There was no deafening explosion, yet every expert present felt the clear aura of death within it. Gu Yu dared not be careless. He spat out black qi, manifesting the myriad soul's bone armor. Ferocious souls burst from his body, merging into a pale armor that radiated dark light. It was embedded with countless bone fragments, each etched with a twisted, tormented face, combining into a grotesque visage that sent chills through the crowd. But before his words even finished, the flame lotus crashed violently against it. For a moment, heaven and earth seemed to halt. Then came a world-shaking detonation, followed by a fiery storm 1,000 meters wide, tearing apart space and splitting the ground into massive fissures. Spectators were horrified. Even Zhu Feng's Heavenly Emperor Phantom was ripped apart, leaving him grievously injured and coughing blood. When the flames subsided, Gu Yu's skeletal form still stood, but his armor began to crack and crumble. Soon his body split apart, his ghostly green eyes dimming before his entire skeletal frame disintegrated into ash. Far away, Gu Yu's true body coughed blood, face pale as he regained clarity. Wiping his lips, he coldly declared, "Even gravely wounded, I will still take Xiao Yan's life." But at that instant, Xiao Yan transformed into a colossal golden figure, his fist slamming Gu Yu back, leaving him battered. Just as Gu Yu prepared to retaliate again, a spatial crack opened. Yao Lao Yao Chen stepped forth. He mocked, "To rely on your seniority and bully a junior, truly disgraceful." Xiao Yan rejoiced at his teacher's timely arrival, but Yao Lao merely said calmly, "I came only because I was worried." Moments later, Elder Tongshuan also descended using a spatial scroll. Two half-sages stood at Xiao Yan's side, making Gu Yu's face darken to its limit. After weighing his options, Gu Yu gritted his teeth and withdrew with the remnants of the Han clan and Heavenly Demon Phoenix clan. Yao Lao and Tongshuan Elder warned Xiao Yan, "The Han clan will never let this go. The Falling Star Pavilion will inevitably face even greater storms in the future." Xiao Yan understood deeply only by refining the Bodhi heart, and stepping into the half-sage realm could he face the coming upheaval. Tongshuan Elder added firmly, "The Gu clan will always watch the Han clan's movements. When needed, we will not stand idly by." In the end, he led Shun'er and the others back to the Gu realm, while Xiao Yan and Yao Lao prepared for seclusion. Everyone knew this clash was merely the prelude. Greater storms awaited on the horizon.